Hey guys, what's going on? I'm finally back for a live stream. I know a bunch of you guys have been messaging me and you're like, hey Chris, where have you been? It's been like a week or maybe 2 weeks. I don't know, I kind of lost track. I just kind of got burnt out, to be completely honest with you, and a bunch of you guys reached out to me and completely motivated me. So that's awesome. It's been a really rough winter here in Minnesota. Whatever, you guys don't care, right? Anyhow, today's video, or today's live stream essentially, is going to be about molly fish. And I'm kind of doing a small little video series on molly fish. And I know a lot of you guys are thinking, oh, molly fish, those are extremely boring beginner fish, right? But this is part of my arsenal. And what actually got me down this wormhole was I own the Facebook group Molly Fish Keepers, and there's like, I think 10,000 members, and I just got down the pathway of molly fish, and I started looking through all of the posts and all of the common questions, and I categorized the most common question down to a breeding and how to tell if your female is pregnant. I'm gonna bring up the chat here. Work with me here. It's been quite some time since I've done a live stream. I'm gonna get back into the rhythm here, I promise you. All right, so we're gonna bring up Palmer Aquatics because that is my channel, right? The Novice Aquarist is not really, it's really a matter of opinion. If you think molly fish are kind of, a lot of people hate on molly fish, and it's kind of like, I don't know why, but molly fish kind of get a bad reputation because, like, even like guppy fish keepers, like people that keep fancy guppies, they're like, I don't screw with mollies, you know? But I really, since day one, have been obsessed with mollies, and I always will. I keep it to myself. It's kind of like, all right, let's mute this here. It's kind of like when some predator guys also keep fancy goldfish, they kind of like keep it to themselves because they're like, oh, I don't want to be found keeping goldfish. And I broke down this tank and I've decided to get some fancy goldfish. I'm gonna get an Oranda, maybe a Ranchu goldfish. So there's gonna be some goldfish videos coming. And you might ask yourself, why, Chris? You're a predator guy. Like, guys, I'm obsessed with all different types of fish aquariums, and it's always been that way. But anyways, let's get into this. I'm gonna give some shout outs. All right, holy smokes, the chat is all over the place. All right, Big Smooth Aquatics says, yeah, stream. Hey, howdy, says the Novice Aquarist. Redfin Aquatics says, hi. Matt's Monster Fish says, what's up, stranger? Who are you? I know, man, I've been out of the realm a little bit. I'll be completely honest. I'll just tell you guys, what happened was we had a bunch of snowstorms here in Minnesota, and my wife actually rolled her car. She got into kind of like a mild car accident. It was on her own, but she went in the ditch and rolled her car. So I got a phone call at like 5 o'clock in the morning, like last week, and they're like, hey, we're here with your wife. She got into a car accident. She rolled her car, and it kind of like, I had this like out of body experience where I was just like, man, I've kind of lost touch with the fact of like family, and I've been so indulged in fish tanks for so long now that like I just took kind of a week off to kind of just the thought of my wife rolling her car and like undoing her seatbelt, being upside down in the car, and seeing the car, if you've ever gotten into an accident or your loved one has, it really touches home. And the thought of my wife being in that car, or not my wife, but my daughter. My daughter wasn't in the car. My wife's completely fine. Everyone's completely fine. The car isn't even that bad, but that is the reason I took a week off. It's just kind of like, I needed to ground myself, essentially. I watched a lot of movies. I kind of just hung out. I did a lot of personal thinking. I got into the Facebook groups, all the ones I own. I tried to kind of better them a little bit. All right, I'm blabbing. Let's get into the chat, or not, let's get to the topic of this live stream. Because you guys know, I love to have topic-driven live streams. Okay, so Molly Fish Keepers. If you have any questions past this live stream, feel free to join my Facebook group, Molly Fish Keepers. There's 10,000 members, and I'm actually looking for some moderators slash admins to help me kind of run it. So if you're into live bears and you're always in the Facebook groups, I'm looking for someone to help me kind of manage it. The group has kind of gotten out of control. There's a lot of overseas members that kind of post a lot of spammy stuff, and that's really common for live bears for some reason. Live bears and betta fish are extremely common for people to try to sell them in the Facebook groups. I don't know what it is, but it's anyways. The topic is my molly fish pregnant, and you guys know I just did a video on molly fish, so this touches home. And this, I'm gonna keep this really basic because I do feel like a lot of beginner people that are keeping molly fish are usually beginner aquarists. I'm not generalizing, but I think it's safe to say. So Big Smooth Aquatics says, I personally prefer platy fish. I would say platies are a hardier live bear and just as colorful, but what can I argue that with? I think mollies get bigger. Ugh, sorry, I just chugged a Mountain Dew. Molly fish get larger in size, and they get more of that leer tail, veil tail, that fancy tail essentially. And I think just mollies, I think, are cooler and closer to my heart than platies. Okay, so I'm gonna keep this very, very easy. And the most obvious way to tell if your molly fish is pregnant is its size. And really, first of all, you're gonna wanna look at the fish and its tail structure to see if it's a male or a female. And the females have a more of like a fantail anal fin. And I know this is kind of, I wish I had, I could switch the cam, but I feel like this as a visual representation is better. The females have like a fan anal fin, and the males have more of a pointy one. So it's gonna be kind of a point, it's gonna kind of come to a point. I know it's kind of a weird representation, but first of all, make sure yours is a female that you think is pregnant, because if it's a male, you can answer the question right away. And if it's large in size, the fish probably has bloat, and you're gonna want to fast the fish, maybe feed it some peas and what have you. That's a whole other side topic. Chris Farrell says, I keep a tank full of them, make for great feeders. This isn't about feeder fish, this is for people that are actually keeping them. So the Novice Aquarius says, what Facebook groups do you run? I own a bunch of Facebook groups, and a lot of people don't know this, but I don't like to boast about it, but I own maybe like 10 Facebook groups. Betta Fish Keepers, there's 80,000 members. Goldfish Keepers, there's 55,000 members. Oscar Fish Keepers, I think there's like 20,000 members. Guppy Fish Keepers, Molly Fish Keepers, some live bear groups. Which one? I have a bunch of them. It's pretty sad when you have too many groups to remember, because to be completely honest, I'm not getting paid to admin these groups, and the reason I like to do it is because I can help the industry, and I wish that there was a way that I could reach more people in the Facebook groups, but it is what it is. And that's why I kind of stepped over to YouTube, because I was having the lack of reaching out to people in Facebook groups, because it's harder, because it's just there's so much clutter and questions, and it's kind of, there's a lot of, there's two different evils there. You got the Facebook groups and YouTube, because with YouTube you're just watching one person. In the Facebook groups, you can click refresh, and there's so much information going on. But I sometimes feel like it's misguided, because there is a lot of not bad people, but people wrongly giving advice. I don't want to get down a rant too far here. All right, so we figured out if you have a male or a female, and you have figured out that the fantail anal fin has told you it is a female. So you think it is pregnant because obviously it's larger in size, because it's that's the main reason you think it is pregnant. Secondly, as it gets more pregnant, you're going to be able to tell if you look forward of the anal fin. And the anal fin is that bottom fin. It's the bottom fin underneath the tail, way in the back. And I'm trying to be the least amount scientific as I can because it's just easier to understand. So look in front of the anal fin, essentially where the genitalia would be. And that's exactly what you're going to look at. When the female starts to kind of like start to cone, you could call it, it almost looks like a triangle. This isn't rocket science. The babies essentially are going to start exiting and protruding. But there comes a time, the question is always, when are the babies coming? When are they due? How many am I going to have? That is the most common question that people ask. And, oh man, the chat's going nuts. All right, I'm gonna jump into this real quick. Which one, platies, guppies, or mollies, easier to breed? I would say platies are the easiest of all three of those. Then maybe guppies. Mollies are harder because they have more of a tendency to eat their babies. So I didn't even know that you had a Molly Fish Keepers group. I just requested to join. Yeah, and if, like I said, I'm looking for some admins / moderators, people that are willing to help. It's just work, man, just moderating. It's cool helping other people though, and I feel like not enough people step up. It's an unpaid job, but we need to help better the industry, and the more people we gain, guys, this hobby is growing rapidly, and I can feel it because like just being out and about, I'm getting more and more people coming up to me like, hey man, fish tanks, like I'm thinking about getting a fish tank, like, and it, you know, like years ago that was never the case, but I feel like it's happening like more and more, and I have faith we're growing this hobby. All right, so your female is pregnant. When is she gonna go? When is she gonna pop? When is she gonna give birth to the babies? And the answer is we really don't know. I mean, it's going to be it could be like a couple weeks in the process. It really depends how far along your female was in pregnancy. It's a lot like humans. Some women, you can barely tell they're pregnant, whereas some like explode and look like they're about to burst, but they're not even that close. So each fish is different kind of essentially, and people hate hearing that answer. But once your female's pregnant, there's two roads you can go. You can go the route where the mother nature route essentially is what they'd call it, and that's where you let nature take its course and you don't plan on removing the babies. If you have a community tank with a lot of other fish, chances are the babies aren't going to last because other fish like to eat small little moving things. They might look like little tiny bugs. That's a great meal for other fish. And it's, what am I trying to say here? The other route is to plan on removing the babies. And what you do is you use a breeder box. I'm going to grab a breeder box. I have one. Give me 1 second. All right, I even have 2 different style breeder boxes. Okay, so this is a breeder box here, and this is kind of just a longer version, and they come with the screens that go on top of here. I don't know where my screen is, but these are really cool, and you should probably invest in one because, to be completely honest, they're just super cool. Like if you need to put a fish in quarantine, these things work amazing. And I'll throw a link in the description box to these because you can literally put this on the front of your tank or on the side and run an airline in here, and you can keep an aggressive African cichlid in here. You could keep a dwarf gourami. Maybe you want to chill out on an aggressive betta fish, or maybe you want to raise your molly fish in here for a couple weeks. Okay, this is one way. This is the kind that is outside of the tank, and this is the other kind. This is there's just different types. This sits in the tank and air catches in here and it just floats in the tank water. And what happens is the mother sits in here and the babies fall through the screen. Of course it doesn't want to work for me right now. These things are kind of chintzy, to be completely honest, but they work. And the babies fall through the screen and they're in here, enabling the mother to not be able to eat them. So dude, you need to stop changing your name. Who's changing their name? Why is there a net sitting in the bottom of your tank? Oh, dude, if you've seen some of my other videos, my daughter, that is her favorite tank to play in, and she literally, uh, it, I love it because she tries to net the fish. She sees me netting fish, and my daughter, there's nets in there because she's trying to net the guppies. It's the most adorable thing on this planet, and I'm gonna do a video soon of her feeding the fish because I've taught her now. She stands on a bucket and she drops the pellets in the tank. She's 15 months. It's a great moment for me. I don't even know how to describe it. All right, so what was I talking about? Yes, two routes. You can let Mother Nature do it, or you can use the breeder boxes and take action into your own hands. And if you're trying to yield the most amount of babies, this is the best route. I personally I don't like these boxes. You know why? Because the breeder boxes kind of stress out the female, and I believe that, I think that it reflects the birth sometimes. You know, like when they say, like, when a mother goes into birth, if she's stressed out, it kind of like rushes the birth, and maybe some of the babies aren't going to make it. I don't know about if that's completely true or if it is what it is. I prefer the Mother Nature route, but to have that, you need to have a tank pretty much completely devoted to mollies, which, let's be honest, some of us aren't doing. Like, my mollies are in my community tank, and it's just the route I'm going. So I'm not going to get any babies, or I might get babies, but the other fish are going to eat them. The best way to do it is to just do pretty much a live bear tank, live bear specific tank, or a molly specific tank. And when I set up the shop, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to set up a 75-gallon just devoted to mollies. That way they're constantly breeding, and if people want to come in and buy a couple, that's essentially just breeding for profit, and that's what I plan to do. A 75 is a great size for them. My baby angelfish slipped right through the spillway guard on the marina breeder box. Really? Yeah, it's could a Dalmatian molly cross with a balloon molly? I don't think so. And a balloon molly fish, God, the chat, dude, it's... And by the way, I want to mention that a lot of people ask also why their molly fish die. And a lot of people don't know this, but molly fish are actually pretty weak when it comes to higher nitrates. Like, a lot of cichlids can withstand it, but anything above like 20 ppm, molly fish aren't going to like. And you also get into the whole salt conversation, which I'm going to do another stream on. I'm kind of doing a molly fish video playlist, video series right now, but this is about breeding and raising the babies. There's going to be more about salt and kind of the myths about molly fish, because yeah, I just want to add it to my arsenal. So as far as the two routes, like I was saying, the Mother Nature route, essentially what you do is just get a heavy decorated / planted tank, whatever you want. Maybe you get some large size gravel, because the babies are just going to hide, and that stops the parents from eating them. And the more hiding spots you have, the less chance the parents are going to eat them. It's really that simple. A lot of people do planted tanks. That's great. I've done fake plants. I've done the spheres, the fake planted spheres. A lot of people have been asking me about those. I'll throw a link to those in the description box too, because those work really well. It's essentially a fake plastic plant. You can get them at craft stores, except it's a ball, and the babies swim into it, and it works great. So a bunch of people have been asking, Chris, where have you been? Like I said, I took a little time off. I told you guys my wife got into a car accident last week. There was a bunch of snowstorms, and she took a corner going too fast and went in the ditch and rolled her car. She's completely fine, and the car wasn't that bad, but it was kind of just like a wake-up call for me to kind of just step away for a little bit, and to realize that, like, my family, like, I get so obsessed with fish that sometimes like I forget what's important in life, and I lose touch with the fact that like, you know, like when I got that phone call from my wife, or it wasn't even from her, it was from someone else. They're like, "Hey, your wife rolled her car." It was just like I, whatever. But that's where I've been. I just took some time off. My wife is fine. Everyone's doing great. The car is totaled, but still, that's just a car, right? So, God, my throat hurts. It's probably because I'm out of shape right now, right? I'm out of shape, right, guys? All right, so I talked about the Mother Nature route. As far as the breeder box route or removing the female, essentially what you do is you float this and you put the female in here and you wait. It kind of sucks because I feel like the female gets a little stressed out, and it is what it is, but you're going to yield a lot more babies, aka fry, than you are if you're going to do the Mother Nature route. But the Mother Nature route is so much easier. So it's like, how do you do it, you know? And as soon as you have your babies, what you can do is maybe move them to this breeder box. This one works a lot better, and you can raise them for a couple weeks in here just on the side of your tank, because it utilizes the same tank water and it's moving and it works tremendous. And you just feed them the Hikari First Bites, or Omega 1 has the little fry food. It's like the size of like a salt granular. It's even smaller than that probably, and that's what they eat. Also, you can put like, sometimes I'll put like a small piece of driftwood in here that's covered in mulm, and they will feed on the mulm because molly fish feed on algae and they absolutely love it. So I think I'm going to get different fish and rehome the loaches. You got any suggestions for a 30, Chris? Well, heck yeah, go with some mollies, man. Get like 6 or 7 molly fish maybe in a 30, or maybe you're looking for some other route. People always ask me, Chris, what fish should I get? Chris, what fish should I get? And I don't mean to get cranky, but it's like, how can I choose your fish for you? Like, and I know that's the magical question. It happens, I get sent it so much, but it's like, dude, like, that's the great thing about fish tanks. Like, one week I want to keep goldfish, and the next week I want to keep an arapaima. You know, like, there's so much different, you know, it's... Chris, why is my blood parrot turning black? They go through like a shelling process. It's probably just going to like turn into kind of like a Dalmatian variant of a blood parrot. Hunter says goldfish for life. Yeah, I'm just deciding on getting some fancy goldfish, and I know a lot of you guys are like, oh, that's stupid, you know. But I'm gonna be getting more connected into the goldfish community. And I do have a Shabunkin right now in there, but I'm taking him out and I'm going to go the fancy goldfish route. So it is what it is. I can't decide who I'm going to be ordering the fancy goldfish from, but I'm going to get a cool Oranda and probably a Ranchu or a Black Moor. I can't decide. All right, guys, hopefully... It took a lot of work for me to get back into this live streaming game. I don't know, I kind of got into like kind of a rut to kind of clearing my mind, and it's like, can I go watch a movie and be like super lazy tonight, or should I get on a live stream and like hang out? Like, what? It's funny how like you get into like ruts and kind of just like, oh man, like I could just do nothing, you know what I mean? But you gotta stick to it, you know what I'm saying? You gotta stick to the grind. All right. I think I'm gonna end this. I think I'm gonna go do another live stream after this. I got a new microphone. I might try and quickly set that up. Some people have been complaining that my microphone isn't good enough, so I got a better one. I don't know if it's a necessity, but it is what it is. Cheyenne Goldfish is getting prepared to sell her babies, I think, from her Super Oranda. I'm kind of looking to like not get a juvenile. I want it to be somewhat grown out, so that like I can just jump on the cam and be like, look at these beautiful goldfish. And maybe I'm gonna start going live in Goldfish Keepers, my Facebook group, a little more, and just try to like hang out with some of the goldfish keepers. And I know very little about goldfish breeding, and I guess Naturally Loach says Daddy Orandas. Yeah, I think I'm gonna reach out to some of them and see what kind of fish they have and just pick them out. And I'm sure I'm gonna get a bunch of haters hating on it, but Nathan says, my dragon blood is holding. By the looks of it, the blue zebra cross with the snow white is dad. Yeah, those are mouth brooders, right? So you're gonna have to yank out the fry and get yourself an egg tumbler, or maybe you can DIY one. Dude, I really need help on my tank on where to place my filter and heater in my 55 gallon. I really like putting the heaters and sorry, the chat's got me misconstrued right now. I like to put the, if possible, on the side of the tank. It's a lot easier on a 75 because I think the 55 is only 12 inches wide, but I like them on the side. Like, a lot of people don't do that because then you can have your tank very close to the wall. I don't like the look of a tank sticking this far out from the wall because you have to have your AquaClear 110 hanging out the back. Like, I don't like the look of it. But then again, if you have a side view from like your couch, maybe you don't want to see that huge filter. I don't know. So people are asking about updates on the store. The store, I have been out there working. It's going to be coming along, guys. There's going to be some videos on it. I've just moved a bunch of tanks. I'm gonna do some video intros out there, and it's kind of going to be cool. It's coming, guys. It's coming. I've decided that I have a 1973 Mercedes, kind of a collector car, and it's worth some money. I'm gonna sell that come springtime and just throw all that money I get into the shop. I'm probably gonna pay for the home furnace with that money. It's a sweet car, I know. It's a diesel too, but it's one of those things, like you choose your hobbies, and it's like, I'm running out of money constantly because I keep buying tanks. I keep finding good deals on like 75s and 90s, and I'm just like, I need to hoard these. I need to hoard them, and like the $100 here and there keeps adding up, and it's just like, it's a sweet car, but I think I can get like maybe like $3,000 for it. I think that'll be a quick sale, and I'm just gonna send it down the road and use the money. So, all right, guys. Friday Fish, oh, that's Friday Fish Facts. What's up, Ron? I didn't see that was even you, sorry. How do you do water changes in all of those aquariums? I snap my fingers and it's just done. No, actually, I literally use I've done videos on my setup. I have a 50-foot hose with a gravel vac, and I literally put that in every single tank, and I use a transfer pump that sucks the water 50 feet out into my yard. And then I have it set up to where I have some of those garden hose switches, and then I switch it off to where it runs water when I'm done. So it removes the water with the pump. I hit the switches to move the water to where it moves, and then it can push it into the tanks. It's not rocket science. Sorry, Hunter, me asking a question 3 times is inconvenient. I'll unfollow now. Brandon, what's your question? You don't need to unfollow, dude. Just settle yourself. Brandon, I will find your question. Brandon, where should I place my filter? That's your question, right? I just answered it, right? This channel is underrated. Keep up the great work, guys. I hit 20,000 subscribers today. It's crazy to think that, like, I had no idea this many fish keeper, hobbyists, geeks, whatever, like, be into this stuff as much as me. I wish that all 20,000 of those fans could be like local to me, because then like I could be like, I have this dream, like I envision, and I have this dream where like I go to friends' house that have fish rooms. They're like, because I don't have a friend with a fish room that's like local, and I could be like, hey man, let's swap fish. I brought 5 fish, let's trade fish. You know, like that's never happened with me, and like that would be such a cool thing. Or I text them and I send them some pictures. I'm like, hey dude, I got some babies, I'll trade you some of these for your rainbow fried babies, you know. So it's like that never has been the case with me, and really the only interaction I have is through like Craigslist, or someone has to drive like 40 miles to come to my house, or it's my wife keeps texting me, where's my internet for my Netflix? Ugh. She's gonna kill me. All right, guys, I'm gonna go watch a movie with my wife. Actually, I think I'm just gonna do one live stream tonight. I'm kind of just taming down, and hopefully this helps answer your molly fish questions and raising them. My fish friends are on YouTube, dude. My only friends are on YouTube. Like, people know that if you're not gonna if you're not gonna talk about fish, like chances are you're probably just not gonna hang out with me because that's all I think about. So it's that's just how it is. And thanks for stopping by, Ron. Friday Fish Facts, sweet channel. Check it out. He's got tons of sweet interviews. Hit up the Patreon. Hunter just posted a link. It'll help build my fish store. Maybe I won't have to sell my cool Mercedes old collector car, but chances are I'm going to sell it because it is what it is, and I like fish more than I like cars now. And everyone said when I had a child, they're like, say goodbye to your project cars, and because you're gonna sell them. And I was like, no, it's never gonna happen. You know, I'm not gonna get rid of my cool projects just because I'm having a child. But I'm in that situation now. It's weird. But anyway, I'm blabbing, guys. Molly fish breeding. Is my molly fish pregnant? This was the topic. It got a little sidetracked at the end there, but it is what it is. Molly fish keepers, join the Facebook group. I'm looking for some mods / admins. Hit the like button, says Hunter. Thanks for being awesome, Hunter. All right, guys. Very selective channel when it comes to interaction. Just my fish. What do you mean? I'm not selective at all. I'm hanging out with all you guys. Just my fish. Now you got me feeling guilty. I'm not gonna feel guilty though, because you should be a politician, he says. I really enjoy live bears. All right, guys, I'm heading out of here, and spring is coming. There's gonna be more videos on the shop. It's gonna be